I do believe we're alive again. So I'll say, indeed, and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. It is always a pleasure to have you here for another conscious evolution. Today's stream topic is about having just enough to change your life, right? That sometimes too much is exactly how much you need for things to give. My mind is immediately, hey Connor. My mind is immediately thinking about a vessel, a cup, a container, holding a bunch of liquid or energy as such. And how in having too much, you can either let go of some of it in the way we do with hydropower and utilize that stored energy. And that is the type of letting go of it, right? Or you can, at least in my mind right now, build more infrastructure in your life as well. In this talking about having too much, or as well, wanting too much, the consideration that in wanting too much, you can end up with less at the end of life, right? And in that case, how can I expand my reserves? That how much I have clearly doesn't seem to be a, what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say the word metric. How much I have isn't the metric for how much I want, right? And I think that's pretty clear if you look at society at large as well. There's a little Burby walking around so dapperly. The ultra wealthy don't find themselves wanting any less. So clearly that behavior seems to exist. So how can I use that ability to want more to want less? Or if I cannot teach myself how to do that, how can I almost expand my own inner reservoirs for what I think I have? And I think gratitude is maybe one of the best reservoirs, if you will, that you can create in your own mind. I'll spend a bunch of time telling myself love is true. That's almost like a little fountain. That's always gushing water in the middle of my brain. And I'll come back and drink from it if I find myself thirsty. Oh, all right. Okay. Let me see if there's any comments from you, friends. Just Connor and me. And maybe one other friend lurking. I have some water here. Water. What an environment. Being at all is a big deal. What's happening? We're being right now, Joy V. It's nice having you being here with us. Jovan saying, me with my critters, being with her critters, I never sought them out, but they apparently sought out my care for them. The critters' care has been teetering on too much responsibility for me, but I've committed to them, and I take commitment so seriously. And it's hard to trust the world to care for them as I do, Conundrum. That is such a beautiful point you're bringing into our collective minds right now, Joe. And I didn't think about that necessarily exactly like that, but that's beautifully synchronous with today's stream topic. Right, and it is true what Jovan says. Right, like all of the animals that is in our life right now are like not bought animals, right? Jovan didn't go and like, yes, let me support an industry of money. No, like all of them were rescues. They were brought into the home by chance, right? By circumstance. But in that almost like being allowed, and maybe even that being needed, maybe that can be said about this experience as well, right, Joe? That maybe during that time of your life, this time of your life even, or the times of your life where it wasn't too much for you, it was as much as it needed to be. And with your growth and with the cups in your life being filled with other things potentially, other responsibilities, too much is something that becomes apparent. That's so beautiful. My mind is like, oh yes, there's so many things like that in our lives. Because it doesn't have to just be financial in nature, right? It doesn't have to just be financial in nature. It can be like that as well. Hard to trust the world to take care for them as I do, conundrum. I think that's maybe the hardest thing about being a parent, potentially, right? Having to let go of your little ones to a world out there, not being able to trust. What I do trust, Joe, is your ability to find the right spaces for them if it does have to come to that. Right? And I feel in a weird way, again, this is me projecting, of course, but there was like some sort of teaching in that as well when you were here in South Africa. And we got to see a bunch of the type of parrot that Joe has all like together. Like there was like 5 of them. They looked like brothers and sisters. And they were like so stoked and they were playing and you could see there was like some sort of communication and there was some sort of dynamic and relationship. And the one that Joe got along with, I think the most, at least at first, was like the odd one out, the like strap, the one that doing his own thing. I wonder, like my mind goes down these rabbit holes of the conundrum of how can you say this in so many words? The conundrum of what is wanted, right? Ultimately, asking the question because want is something very relative, and I feel like that's why advertising is so big in our global spectrum right now. Because if you have, for instance, a little dog or a little parrot in a room with you, and you take out a little snack, right? The object of desire is going to arise, right? As snack. Suddenly the want for snack will be there, right? Even though that want could have not existed if the snack wasn't brought out, right? And in that way as well, what is wanted in a moment to moment can differ. Thinking about the 9 cats on the farm, for example. What do they want? They want to eat the food, probably. Probably. Oh, going down these rabbit holes with you. Oh, Sam, insomnia, be kicking my ass. Taking a deep breath with you. Sam, this is me coming to you with like a question. And this question is that if you are having an insomnia, yes, this is the official term, having an insomnia. When you're having an insomnia, do you just lay very still? Or is there a lot of tossing and turning like this and then like that and like this? Because depending on which it is, I've read that apparently even if you are technically awake, right, insomniizing, and there is still a decent amount of rest occurring on a metabolic level. And this is me just being like, I don't know how to help other than being like, have you tried being extremely still? There's holding your heart. Dear Sam, sending you love. Oh geez, I've been thinking too, if I can't commit to a critter for a few years, how am I supposed to commit to a kid? Yeah. Yeah. I think it is a matter of, again, wants, right? That there are things to be wanted. For instance, right, you might have a kid and might want the simplicity of a dog, where the biggest task you have is cleaning poop off the floor, potentially. Where when you have a dog and pooping on the floor, you might want for the complexity that comes with raising a human being and forming a complex language relationship with them. All right? Those are different things to want. And depending on what we want, our capacity to really take them on changes. And I feel like there's so much to be learned about ourselves in that experience. Feeling this with you, Joe. Love is true, right? I feel like that almost needs to be said. Sam, missed you this morning, but happy that you got some extra sleepies where you could find it. True. Want is not relative. Want is life. I think desire is life, but I don't think want is life. Want want is emotional, right? Where desire can be a little bit more, I want to use the word primal, but I feel a better word is more primordial, right? It's like the arising of, where want is like almost a direction arising of. Like when you want something, you desire a specific outcome, where desire is almost just like the eruption, like the arising, of the outcome in the first place. Want is like the point. Oh, we're still on consumer goods. Yeah, sometimes. And to think that those birds could still be there in time, doing their thing, when we're bones in the ground, it blows my mind. Those little dinosaurs can live such long lives. It's true. It's true. It is quite something to be responsible for. What I want for my life, I have spent some time asking these questions. And we even had this conversation a little bit about Pepe, right? When I moved here, we asked the question of, do we want Pepe to come here with me? And with the way that I live, and the way that I want to live, and the freedoms that I want to be allowed, uh, wanting a dog in that way would be too much. It would be too much for me because, again, every time I want to go and do something that is not in my immediate vicinity, I'll have to expect someone else to take responsibility for things for me. And that could be done, right? In a way, like my parents, they live on a farm, so they aren't going anywhere, to say it in so many words. But it feels like it would be like a very clear choice I would have to make. It's like, I can either have these little critters depending on me, or I could live the life that I'm here to be living. And I feel like again, this my mind is at least experiencing a sense of like, oh, that sucks. That there has to be some sort of distinction. But I think that's also not right necessarily, or at least not the right way to see it. Because again, I'm not going to be robbed of the experience of pets in my life, right? There are billions of people that want the lifestyle of just being in their home and that being, what they want, and having their dogs and having their kids and homesteading like that, having that stability, if you will. And, fortunately, there's a many of us, and we can be friends, and we can still have the experience of pets, still have the experience of building relationships with friends, with family members, helping them raise their kids. What we want continuously changes, and what we need from our life does too. I feel like there's a lot of, I want to say the word, like I want to like pump us up a little bit and be like, there's a lot of pride to be had. There's a lot to be proud of in being willing to acknowledge to yourself that some things are exhausting you, that some things don't work for where you are right now, that if you're going to continue with this kind of experience, it's going to lead to you feeling this kind of way. And the only way for you not to feel this kind of way is to not continue with this kind of experience. I'm proud of us for growing this way. We're strong. Yeah, 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 bolstering. Isn't that wild, Joy? Same with the turtles, the whales, and the sharks. The jellyfishes as well, goodness. If you're asking how I deal with insomnia, it's not healthy. I do lay there for hours on end, but all that do is make me exponentially more bitchy than I'd be if I just got up. Maybe they live long lives because they haven't done anything to piss God off. Like, I don't really think God is vindictive. Especially not so with, like, if you, like, you have to be very creative to say it in so many words. Or at least you have to think you're very creative to think you can piss God off. Because at least in my mind, the idealized version of God that I hold is that he is literally light. He's so light. You can cast as much darkness against light and it will still be light. Right? So in that way, there's nothing to offend. There's nothing to piss off. I'm too much to handle. You and me both, Duck Dad. You and me both. And yet, we still find people that show up and love us. And those are the people that we need to hold on to, bro. With our dear lives. My cat was the only thing keeping me from rage at 3:30 in the morning yesterday when my head still would not hit the pillow. And I had to be up at 6:30. Yeah, that's the worst. When you know your like wake up time is like encroaching closer and closer and you feel more and more a sense of dread that you haven't started sleeping and you think about how tired you're gonna be if you don't and then it's gonna, that's where I stay awake as well. So when I start getting myself into thought loops like that, taking a breath mindfully. It's funny, as you say, it's a good thing to admit what's exhausting you and honoring it and working within it. Would I like a second kid? Sure, but it's not just the good. Ali and I are sad about it, but we also know how triggered we are from the constant intensity of 3 people's autism. Another one just wouldn't work, but man, do people try to tell you it will. Yeah, that's like people, thinking having a child is gonna fix their marital issues, for example. I'm not saying that's what you did. I just mean, feels like that type of point adjacent. Yeah, it's gonna be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge, and you are, I think, wise in your assessment. It's going to be a click in a second. I don't think God is vindictive. No, he just leveled the earth with a flood for fun. I mean, the magnetic poles shift every few thousand years. And there are like asteroid belts, some of which are made of ice in our solar system. Right. So there are a bunch of reasons for there to be floods washing our planet. Doesn't have to be a vindictive God. God is love, Sam. God is love. I feel you, Doug Dad. I was going to continue down this rabbit hole if I think you're right in your assessment that it isn't necessarily going to help. Especially not at first. Melania is gonna feel some things about you having more kids in the house, definitely. And then that kid is going to become a version of themselves. And as you said, you're going to have to be competing with that personality as well. And competition maybe is the wrong way to see it, but everyone wants to feel important. That is kind of the shtick, right? And with more people in the family, there are more people technically to make each other feel important. But also, when it comes to the way we're communicating these days, where we're giving individual people time to talk and we're staying quiet, metaphorically speaking, before we reach the level of simultaneous brain-computer interface communication, right? There definitely is going to be a certain level of competing for time, competing for attention, competing for resources. Another kid's going to be another mouth to feed, another body to clothe, another person to buy electric toys for, another iPhone eventually down the line or whatever, another college tuition. That is why people are having less and less kids. And how many kids you need to have is going to literally affect your life and mostly your life alone. So it should be your decision and your decision alone. I'm sorry that you're dealing with people trying to be like, oh, have you tried having more kids? having problems. Like, I can tell you about this, and maybe you can relate a little bit to this, Doc Dad, but I have heard this theological take, right, from a very Orthodox Christian that believed the reason people were having 8 kids, my dad is one of a family of 8 kids, all right? The reason people were having 8 kids is because they were more religious back then. And because they were more religious, they knew that the more kids they have, the more dependents they had, and the more God provided for them so that they can provide for all of their kids. And now, these days, we're less religious, right? And we're also having less kids, which means we're also more poor. That's what's happening. It's not late stage capitalism. No, it's atheism. So yeah, Doc Dad, just have more kids, bro. Just have 75 kids. Oh, and then boom, suddenly you're a trillionaire, dude. Because you need to be to take care of 75 kids. Disclaimer, I'm not a dad. I think I missed. I'm gonna read it now. So much love in chat still. You friends are showing up. Determining yes. My name is Kenny. And I said, Sam, I have a hard time now determining where seagulls piss God off or is doing his work. Are they pissing him off or are they doing his work? Determining yes. That's a word now. Determinating? Determinating? Yes. Jovan, regarding seagulls, sometimes God creates assholes of his own for the purpose of dealing with other assholes. I have heard, Sam, this is not the first time I'm hearing this take from Sam. But every time I hear it, it takes me aback. I don't want to believe it, but it does make kind of sense. Some sense. A little bit of sense it makes. What we have here is the internet. I think I missed the previous message. Seagulls might be proof that God has a sense of humor. What we have here is the internet. Click it, and your ones are still ones, but your voice gets heard. I appreciate you all. We appreciate you too, Mala. Now that I'm a dad, if I ever heard someone tell me they were having a kid to fix their marital issues, I would be confused whether to slap them or laugh at them. Maybe a good old slap and laugh. Yeah, like a slap I think that catches them off guard, and then bolstering laughter so that they don't sue you. All right, so they like start laughing with you just to like defuse the tension of the situation. But then they like are gonna spend a bunch of time like really thinking about that moment, and it will like steer them right a little bit maybe. Full disclaimer: this was a skit. Don't slap your friends. Man, do people try to tell you at will that people willfully and gleefully disregarding what is a sad reality for people so they can feel self-important, Duck? Yeah, right, Duck. It feels like a strategy to secure a toxic attachment. Woo! Woo! That's a big one. It is true, right? For some people, it definitely is that. Having a kid is like almost, at least for a while, like a guaranteed friend, right? You have to be my friend. Parents say to their kids, it's like, what are you gonna do, bro? Feed yourself? Try. This world won't give you food. And I brought you into it. You are dependent on me. You will literally die if I don't make sure you don't. They'll lock me up for it, but I have to make sure you don't, bro. Goodness, the robots need to get here already. Suddenly my mind is like, oh my, oh my. It's a good thing we'll have robots helping us. Oh, is it gonna be a good thing that the robots will get for us? I think it's gonna be net good. I have to believe. I just found the tuk-tuk emote. I got to ride in these cabs in Delhi. I haven't. Have I? I'm trying to think. I feel like I might have been in one once. And maybe I didn't even ride in it. That's why I'm like really fuzzy on the memory. But they were very popular as delivery vehicles as well in China. Like a tuk-tuk, but instead of a box for you to sit in the back of, it would be a box where they would put packages within. And the delivery system in China is pretty efficient. I wanted to say something else, but I think that terminology is a little bit dated. We don't work with machines that much anymore. Not personally, at least. I think I'm a safe person to be with. Don't ask the cat. Bruh. That is the most concerning sentence I've read all day. Love-ins again to you, lovely people. Love-ins to you. Shut up. Thank you for sharing some of your love with us. I love taking tuk-tuks. Road lots in India. It's true. Joy Viva's been to India. Seeing Joy Viva in a tuk-tuk in my mind's eye right now. When you're in a tuk-tuk, Joy Viva, do you spend like time looking out into the world? I'm guessing so, right? Maybe that is the point. That it is your own little mini cab. I'm thinking about our standards, what we would consider royalty 500 years ago. A tuk-tuk, you'll see. If you could just like spawn a tuk-tuk, like back 500 years ago, I don't know if you'd be able to teach them how to make fuel. You know what? Electric tuk-tuk with solar panels strapped to its roof. Literally godlike piece of technology. Kings will wage wars. They will kill literal armies to own that thing. And I'm not even joking. Maybe I am. Maybe this is a little bit of a skit in my own mind. But I can imagine that because, again, goodness. Would they take it apart and try and reverse engineer it? Oh, goodness. Yes. I hope they don't. I really wish they won't. Because, again, they'll reverse engineer it to people that probably have absolutely no idea what they're doing. And they will just destroy. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there will still be some sort of information, but they cannot understand what's happening in the solar cell. That's going to go way above their head. They might understand what's happening in the batteries a little bit. And they might understand what's happening in the motors. And in that way, that's still more than enough tech. My mind is just going down the rabbit hole of if we gave ourselves a tuk-tuk, an electric solar panel tuk-tuk, 500 years ago, what would our species look like right now? What would happen to us technologically? I think it would be a quite big explosion. Things would change radically. Like the wars alone in conquest for the tuk-tuk would push our progress. I had to nap through a migraine, but it's all better now. I love the word tuk-tuk. Sounds so fun. It is fun. It is definitely fun. Yes, because they are open. They like have doors and a roof that are open otherwise. Nice. I'm flashing back there. Was a couple of really scary moments navigating traffic stuff. Malal, you're so expressive. Love is true. Yeah. Traffic is definitely, it's one of those things that I was happy, at least for some parts of my journey there, that I didn't have to deal with. I don't really think I had any close calls when I was in China with traffic. Not really. It was one that was kind of close, but no harm, no foul, right? As in, I didn't hit anybody and they didn't hit me. And I got to walk away from the experience just with elevated blood pressure and a fast heartbeat. It was quite exhilarating. But it was at least significantly less dangerous than a car accident would be. The big thing in China as like a mode of personal transportation was little electric bikes. I wonder if I'll be able to show you. Hey Google. Small electric scooter pictures. Wonder if I'll be able to find the one that I was riding. It's gonna take me a hot second. Yes, it didn't take me a hot second. Took me more than a few, but look at that. That's basically the first little electric scooter that I rode. It didn't have the backseat part. It just had like a box like that was like going like this essentially. But it was very similar. I had like the front little basket. Same color. That was the big thing for me. Same shape. Same infrastructure. Very cheaply made. But it got me where I was going. And I really did enjoy it. It was very cheap as well there. I think I paid because they when I got there, literally the first night. Okay, second night, yeah. The second night that I was there, I get taken by one of the assistant teachers at night to an electric bike shop. And then they show me a bunch of different models and then they tell me the prices. And I think that one was $300 or something like that. And I paid, well, I didn't have to pay the $300. They basically paid the $300 for me. And then when I started working, they took the $300 off my salary. But I had a little vehicle. Literally get into a new country and instantly have a little vehicle. I was like, nice. This is kind of nice. It wasn't a good one. And I did get another one. That's one of those things where I wanted more, and then I ended up with less. That's one of those things. Because I wanted a nicer bicycle, and I think I spent $800 on one. I sold the $300 one for like $200, I think, and then I paid the other $600. I know, but I had this nice bicycle, electric bicycle. Like, let me show you what this one looked like. Electric. Let's see if I can find the model that I had. It was nice looking. Hey, it was kind of one like this. Yeah, this exact one. Nice. It wasn't too hard to find one. I had a black one like this. Black one with like red accents. Then I had a bike like that. And it was fast. And it was very fun to ride. Especially since I came from like one of those little squidrigies, and then I went from one of those. And then I spent maybe 2 months riding it. And then I moved from the city that I was in. And then I think I sold it for $300 again, $400. 5,000 RMB. Yeah, I sold it for. I'm trying to do the conversions because it's double our currency, and our currency is like a 20th of yours. Yes. So it was $500. Sold it for $500. So I was out at the end of the whole thing, still like $200. Me going down this rabbit hole of wanting more and being left with less. I gained the experience of riding that bike for the time that I had it. It was fun. It was great fun. I really did enjoy it. The way they would drive straight at each other and then swerve out of the way in the last second was insanity. No, please. I'm flashing back. Love is true. That sounds so crazy. Morning, Sun King. It's nice having you here. We're just about getting time to wrap it up. We're gonna pull a card. We talked a little bit about wanting. How wanting more can leave you with less. How you can want to want less. And I think that might be the thing we'll get more of as we get more down the line. Yes, it makes sense. It makes sense if you think about it. Glad I made it. Glad you're here, Sun King. Always glad you're here. Let's see which one of these cards is it gonna be. This one, huh? Okay, come on. This one. Today's stream topic was about getting so much that you realize you want less, right? Or you might need less in this moment. And the card we pulled today is Deep Replenishment. Retreat, rest, be held. Retreat, rest, be held. I'm gonna need me some deep replenishment after this move. I can't give you that necessarily, but I can tell you that I've been watching Lower Decks, the animated Star Trek show. I've been watching the episode that people recommend, and they've been pretty good. They've been pretty good. I've watched Star Trek almost like as a way of having conversations with you, Sam. I am sending you all the rest. Every single vibration that reaches you right now is sent with the intention of bringing you soul's nourishment, bringing you deep replenishment. The most selfless thing you can do. Woo! Oh my, it's gonna go there. It's actually gonna go there. It's gonna melt our brains of synchronicity with what I've been talking about. Oh wow. The whole cups conversation that I had so many times today. Yee. The most selfless thing you can do is fill up your own inner well. When you are running around half filled, we subconsciously look to things and people around us to give us the nourishment and nurturing that we so deeply crave. Nothing can grow in barren lands. Hey Zano, you are no good to anyone if you are running on empty yourself. The feminine is bountiful, fertile and rich. Tend to your own well and watch as the amount you have to give multiplies. If your inner well isn't full, you will find yourself craving things from the outside world to fill it. This is our body's instinctive way of reaching for the grounding and nurturing that we are not allowing ourselves. What nourishes you? What refuels your body? What is nectar for your soul? What brings you back to life? What is your secret medicine? What makes you feel abundant and fertile, overspilling with life? It may be gardening, arranging flowers, giving a massage, using luxurious essential oils, snuggling up on the couch, hiking, sipping a good coffee at your favorite cafe, attending a women's circle, reading about sacred sites, spontaneous bike rides, walking along the beach, or yin yoga. What nourishes you is your medicine. When you give yourself the medicine that you need to be nourished, you nourish all those around you, for there is more than enough to go around. Do something that deeply replenishes you today. It is Friday. It is Friday, so it is a good opportunity for you to do something, to deeply replenish yourself. Deep replenishment card, listen to Sam, hedonize thyself. Gonna need me some deep depression, bless you again. Lower Decks is a little hard to understand in parts due to the meta references, but I'm super glad you're enjoying the ride. I think I enjoy the meta references. They're like telling stories in a way that I can relate to, right? They're being very, almost like off the hip with it. I don't know if that makes sense. I wish they would not beep the curse words, because I feel like that would just be like make it extra good. But that's basically my only gripe. Hello, lovelies. Bless you again, Zano. Melt, you are the absolute best for giving my posts some engagement. Thank you so much. You are so welcome, Zano. I know what it takes, all right? And I see you doing what it takes. So I can do what it takes from me for you to do what it takes for us to take all of this doing onto ourselves. Yes, just like such. I thank you, friends, for showing up, for love, for making a difference in this world, for information on the Temerian crewman, Lieutenant Kayshawn. Yes, yes. The TNG episode Darmok will explain everything about this species. When I hear Darmok, my mind starts like speaking gibberish language in my brain. His mind cast asunder. Darmok Atanagra, his mind cast asunder. His lost in the forest, Darmok and Jalad at the Nagra. And that's fucking story I want to hear. I've seen that one. They actually have one of those Darmok entities in the show, and then one of the crewmates tries to like learn the language and tries to talk to him at a bar, and then like he insults his weight by not saying the words correctly. Have a great weekend all. Thank you, Mel. Thank you, Sun King. Hope you have a good one too, dear friend. Burning some incense. Nice. Hope it's good stuff, bro. Yeah, I'll just say that. Don't want for more. Want for what is. Okay, thank you. That was a really great episode, Sam. Thank you for sharing that. True. I posted some of the Christmas presents I made in the creative space. Stuff I can't put up yet. So I should look. I will look, but I won't show. Prioty of Sposa. I am confused. I'm suddenly seeing a photo of myself with the microphone. I like your pumpkin. Oh, you're doing a bunch of shirts. Nice. That's super cool. Those doggies with the little heart pipes. I do like that. I like that a lot. I think that might be my favorite. This lady is super pretty. I do see someone special in that. That's very cool. Well done, Zana. I think those are going to be very well received. So special, one of a kind. Literary. Nobody has one of those. Gotta draw, but goddamn. Y'all are the best. Much loving. Much loving to you too, dear Kristen. Thank you, friend, for joining us. It was nice to have you here for these moments that we have shared. I do hope you have the most splendiferous day, everyone. I wholeheartedly love you all so marvelously, wondrously, astoundingly, exquisitely and dazzlingly, stupendously and radiantly, phenomenally, enchantingly, superbly melt. And all of you, oh so generous and magnanimous, nurturing and tender-hearted, selfless and gracious, uplifting, empathetic, radiant and devoted friends who know that too much can be just enough for change. Thank you, Kristen, for that beautiful goodbye message. Joe, taking a moment to say Zano and Sun King and Molo and Samalama. Viva, Joy Viva, Kristen and Doug, melt and more and more. Melt more and more. Oh, you're so nice. Say my full name like that. I had a lovely lurky tea time with you this morning. Thank you. Thank you, friends, for joining me too, for finding yourself here for a moment. I'll show you around my world for a second. It seems like the clouds are rolling in again. And then I'll say goodbye, dear friends. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. I say goodbye now, dear friends. I bid you a fair adieu. Yes. Mwah. Until we do it again, alright?